Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Mark Lowery, your county judge-elect.
Thank you. Thank you. This is actually the first time I've been able to speak publicly where it's not a Hood County Commissioner's Court or the hospital district meeting. So I'm actually going to be able to talk to you folks as citizens, fellow citizens, friends. First, I want to thank Greg Harrell, Chairman Harrell, and his staff. Amazing job they've done the last few years, and we're so blessed to have him coming back to coordinate this for the Republican Party of Hood County. I think we all see the professionalism that he puts into it and the time, and his great assistant, Marietta, and Chris Davis. And I can't go without saying Tina Lawrence, she's here somewhere. I promise I'll smile, Tina. She always would tell me you gotta smile more. I want to thank 29% of the registered voters in Hood County voted in this primary. 29%, and it's one of the largest in the state of Texas, according to Chairman Harrell. We can do better, ladies and gentlemen. We can do better in America. 29% is a great number, but we can do better. I think the county has taken a change of direction. I campaigned on change. My wife Karen and I put everything we had into this campaign, both physically, emotionally, mentally. When we get into things, I think you realize that from the school district experience. When we get in, we're all in, whether we're going to live or die through it. It doesn't matter to us. We're all in. And we did that. This isn't about me, though. Please understand this. I'm simply the vessel. When I look around this room, I see people that sacrifice equal amount of time, treasure, and knowledge and experience to educate me, to prepare me, and to get us across the finish line. We walked on so many doors, it was unbelievable. We had great advisors, both the casual advisors, and I look around the room and I see those folks here now that would consult with us and help us get a better understanding what the people were saying. But I want to recognize Brett Rogers. He wrote a book called The Goal is to Win. We read that book before we decided to get into this. We went to his seminar in Midlothian before we decided to get into this. And then Eva, where are you? You sneak around here. Without the two of them, and most of you that do know me, know that I'm a pretty serious guy, and I make pretty serious decisions. But one of the things that Karen and I committed to was listen to Eva and listen to Brett. And when they said do something, we did it. When I was in Atlanta, the few days during early voting, I had to go out there on a job assignment that I'd been planning for a year. I was putting 15,000, 20,000 steps on a day at a convention center. And Eva called me, I think it was on Sunday, said, let's do another town hall in Pecan on Wednesday or Tuesday. And I'm thinking to myself, we're at the end. We don't need to do this. But that little thing inside my head said, nope, listen to your advisors, the professionals. And we said, let's do it. We had over 120 people. If you're thinking about running for an elected position, think hard. Think about your serious commitment, because it is a commitment. Many of you know that who have ran here. But I can't recommend these two enough. And Eva had to do it basically under the radar for a significant period of time. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that here in just a little bit. But what they did to Eva a year ago this April was one of the deciding factors that I had to step up and get in. And I have no authority in this county, but what they did to her was wrong and it needs to go away. As I said, I thank every voter in this county, every voter, whether you voted for me or not. I will not operate in a vacuum. Something I learned early on in the Secret Service. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I sure can recognize the smartest guy in the room. And I listen. I will not operate in a vacuum. I will look for input from the citizens of Hood County. I ran on transparency, and I swear to you, I want to hear from the citizens of Hood County. I want to represent the citizens of Hood County. This isn't about me. This is about the change that we've all we've strived to accomplish, that we've had a thirst for. And I think we now have turned the corner and we can start accomplishing some of that change. It's going to be incremental at some point. And some point, maybe we can make some big strides. I'm just one of the Commissioners Court, but we now have 3 solid, principled conservatives. I look forward to working with Dave Eagle, a legal mind that has great wisdom. I look forward to working with Nanette Samuelson. I look forward to working with Kevin. I look forward to working with Jack. We have to work together. We have to move our vision, our principled conservative principles forward in this county. One of the things I want to talk about is this last Commissioner's Court. I don't know who all goes to these courts. I've been going for a long time, long before I decided to run. Why, I don't know. I'm a weird guy, I guess. And I'm going to talk about the 3 things that I saw that happened in the Commissioner's Court on Tuesday. And Chairman Harrell came out, and we were in the hallway. It was bizarre, ladies and gentlemen. And Greg Harrell said something this last week: the process is broken. And I don't think I can define it any better than that. The process is broken. I'm going to talk about the 3 things that happened. A memorandum of agreement that on the agenda, it said create a memorandum of agreement, cooperation, which I'm very familiar with, MOUs, MOAs, with police departments and local other agencies. And that's what this said, create a memorandum of agreement. As this day went out, I read it so much I highlighted it. I had to print a clean copy to read it again because I had highlighted too much of it. It added confusion, contradiction of terms. There was not certainty who the board of directors would be. And in law enforcement, as I said that day, and I won't get too far into this, but I said that day, you don't have to look beyond Uvalde to see what happens when you don't know who's in charge of crisis. And that's what happened in Uvalde. That memorandum agreement was extremely disappointing for a law enforcement professional to read it because it didn't provide clarity. I spoke to the sheriff that morning before the meeting, told him, listen, conceptually I understand this, but I'm going to speak out against it today. Come to find out, it's something that's been in place supposedly for some time. They referred to policies and procedures, which the MOA led you to believe it wasn't created yet. We find out that they supposedly have one. Nobody's read it. But if those are written any way, shape, or fashion as this MOA, we got to look at them again because this MOA was very disappointing. And I've had some real experts in reading and writing besides myself read it, and they concur with me. I'm going to call Lettergate. The judge had a letter on his desk that he went to Commissioner's Court on an agenda item to get them to sign to send to Rain Lily. Commissioner Samuelson asked some questions where this originated from. Before Commissioner's Court, I believe, I asked about where it came from. It made no sense to me why we're in such a rush to offer this. If you were there that day, you'll hear the judge say, I don't know where this information came from, basically. It's going to come off his desk with his signature. Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you, if there's anything going to fly off the judge's desk when I'm the judge, I'm going to know where it came from. I'm going to know who constructed it. I'm going to know what it means to the citizens of Hood County. Honestly, there's some staff members that I think don't understand they work for each and every one of the commissioners. They work for you as an extension to the Commissioner's Court. They should answer each commissioner's questions. That day, and I think I've seen it, I've witnessed it before, one of the staff members, I believe, if you were there, I think, was pretty much rude to Commissioner Samuelson. Could not or would not provide her an answer. That's unacceptable. If a commissioner asks a staff member of Hood County, they need to provide them the details and information and answers. If they don't have it, get it. The Rain Lily letter was to push forward saying they didn't need a concept plan. I don't understand why we don't understand that right now we're paying a law firm. We have the Develop Commission, which Christine Leftwich is doing a great job. Matt Long's here. Is there any other? The Development Commission was created recently. It could have been established in 1996 to edit our regulations so that we can better protect the citizens of Hood County. We're paying a law firm. The Development Commission's working hard to get these edits, to get them approved by the Commissioner's Court, and we keep getting things sent to us. That's why I would have supported the moratorium. I would take the risk of getting sued because we got to slow this thing down. The moratorium didn't pass. All these concept plans that are coming our way, I don't think are being handled properly, and I think some of the commissioners agree with my position on it. I will say this, I remain committed to stop the industrial mechanization of Hood County. I am committed to that. And sometimes we have to take a risk. When I was in the Secret Service, I used to argue at headquarters all the time, and I would tell the chief legal counsel, sometimes you may have to go to court and defend a position that's right for the Secret Service and not take the easy way out. Now, I'm not looking for lawsuits, I guarantee you. But sometimes we got to stand up for what we principally know is right for Hood County and the citizens and let the chips fall where they may. I want to talk about the yellow, red, yellow. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no clue. I see Cindy Highsmith over here. Hands off to you and her husband, John. We have no clue. We have no clue who the yellow-red project's being submitted by. While we were in the court halfway through the day, we found another company that may be in charge of it. We don't know who this is. Why don't we just stop it? If we don't know who the company is, why would we want to venture into a program or project that end up disrupting what we want in Hood County when we don't even know who the company is and what their long-term intentions are? That's the red-yellow project. It's still out there. They moved it, they extended it, so welcome, Brent. I want to talk about the hospital district. Most of you probably didn't even know we had a hospital district. There needs to be some work done on that because presently they're doing the best they can, but the Commissioner's Court basically violates state laws because they go into a quorum when they're at the hospital district and all the commissioners. Now, I don't know what they're doing now with the announcement saying it's not a quorum, if that protects them or not, but the hospital district is something in 1996, we got $15 million for a lease for our hospital out there, 30-year lease. It expires this year. They get a 10-year extension for $1,000 for 10 years. $1,000 for 10 years. So we've got the management company at the hospital. There was discussion, and I don't know what, I'm not in executive session, so I'll just speak my mind freely. There was a negotiation for them to buy it from us. And I think it was a lowball figure, but if we sold it to them, then we got that hospital management crew, certainly for the rest of my life, probably well generations beyond. $26 million, somewhere in that was what they were offered. That building and property, can you imagine what that would be worth 5 years, 10 years down the road? I spoke out about it yesterday. They went into executive sessions, come out, and Dave, feel free to correct me, and Kevin, and I don't know what happened in executive session, but Dave made a motion, Jack Wilson seconded it, and they passed to stop communications or negotiations with the management company. That may require us, because by law, we have to provide indigent care. And I think the numbers now are about 60 right now. It fluctuates monthly, daily sometimes, that we're responsible for by state mandate. And it's not a funded mandate, so we have to come up with the money. There's options to cover that. They've looked at them. But we may end up having to cover that in another format. But if we can't break the lease, doesn't look like we're going to, in 10 years we can get Baylor Scott. I don't know, we can get another hospital corps to come in here. And I think the citizens of Hood County, you folks deserve better care at the hospital. And let me speak on why I say that. I've knocked on thousands of doors during this campaign cycle. And beyond the data centers and beyond the SO, the Sheriff's Office, I will talk on that in just a second, I hear a lot, and I'm sure you do too, at cocktail parties, at restaurants. People are concerned with the care they're getting at that hospital. We shouldn't have that situation here in Hood County. So hopefully we can develop a plan that will help change that. Let me talk about the Sheriff's Office. I spoke to Sheriff Deeds Tuesday before the Commissioner's Court. Am I running out of time? All right. Sheriff Deeds and I spoke. We agreed we're going to meet. I said I think we have more agreement than we have disagreement. And then he spoke to me again yesterday at the hospital district meeting. So I'm going to meet with Judge Massengill. That's scheduled for April 2nd. Once I do that, I'm going to start meeting with the directors of the various offices to meet with them to get a better understanding of what their jobs are, what their staffing levels are, what can we do, what can I do to help make their job more efficient. One of the problems I heard from citizens all over the county is some of them are fearful of the Sheriff's Department. And like I said, we've got people in this room that I think were lawfare impacted the Sheriff's Department. Flock cameras, that's been an issue that's come up again. I'm against them. I don't think that's something we want to go down that road. And I will have that discussion when I can, either leading up or when I get there. I've received some very positive impact from county employees. I was really kind of worried about that. I've had county employees come up to me and thank me for running, congratulating me for running, and saying they're looking forward to working. You know how encouraging that is to somebody going into the situation that I went into. Right now I'm following up with citizens. Citizens I knocked on the door, as Karen would tell you, sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes 40 minutes or an hour. I'm going back to select numbers of those because I want to really hear now a little deeper what their concerns are and the circumstances behind that. I want to follow up with these folks. Community outreach. The town hall meetings that Eva put together were unbelievable. Told her we knocked it out of the park. 100 pecan, over 120 people were there. People want to hear what their government's doing. This isn't it wasn't a campaign speech. These were people I want to hear. We want to hear. Dave participated in those, and we all came away really refreshed, saying, "Listen, we're hearing from the people," and they encouraged by it. I don't know how many people at Pecan the day of election come up and thanked us for those town hall meetings. I want to continue with those town hall meetings. I'm talking with the Hood County Express about doing a judge's corner, commissioner's court corner. I got to be careful, CCC or whatever. Something where we can communicate to the citizens what we're looking at going forward, like this hospital district thing. Most of you probably didn't even know there was a hospital district. So I want to start doing some type of community outreach. What am I doing now? And I'll hurry up, Dave. Like I said, what I'm doing now is reaching out to those people I'd met before the judges meeting on April 2nd. I'm going to continue to go to the Hood County Commissioners Court meeting and speaking out on issues that are dear to my heart that I have a question with. I think they need to hear from me. I'm going to be your next county judge unless I die or something else tragic happens. I'm going to speak out on issues. I hope to be involved in the budget discussions because that's what we're going to have to live with. I'm going to meet with the director's head. What can I do upon taking office? One of the things I want to do after this last Tuesday, I want to look at all the memorandums of understanding, all the memorandums of agreement, if I can, and all these procedures and policies. One of the staff members said that the website hadn't been updated. Some things had changed in, I think, 2005, and it was still not changed in the policies and procedures. That's unacceptable. We have to have these department heads review these policies and procedures. We got to bring them up to 2025, 2026. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. One of the questions I get is as far as healing. I'm a principled Lincoln Reagan conservative. I think if anybody that didn't want to vote for me or didn't vote for me, if they come to the Commissioners Court and they hear me speak, I don't think anybody could disagree with what I'm talking about. Fiscal responsibility, transparency, better efficient management of government, and the people hearing from them. I don't think anybody could say that, I'm not going to be good sitting in that position. But I open the door. If you disagree with me, come see me. If you have an issue with me, come see me. I want to hear from everybody. I'm not going into this, like I said earlier, in a vacuum, and I'm going in to represent the conservative Republicans. So I am principled Lincoln Reagan conservative. I'm representing every citizen in Hood County. And I want to thank you for putting your time in today. This is a small contingent of Hood County, but you're making a difference, not only in the county, but the state. And we got to start changing things here. I ran on change. We're going to start making some, I think, positive in a better direction. Sorry. Thank you. If you got any questions, if they have any questions.